you may notice, if you've been paying attention, that I have some different pictures up there from what I had before. These come from my from a series of pen drawings that I did called the Eyes of Enlightened Beings. And, you know, I found that with certain pictures, you may have noticed this with a picture of Ramana Maharshi, that just looking at this picture can bring us into a great spacious awareness. It's kind of amazing that this happens, but what are we looking at in that picture? We're looking at the eyes in the picture. We're not looking at the nose or the mouth or the chin or the forehead or the shape of the face. We're looking at the eyes. The eyes are what transmit this energy. So I decided that I would do these pen drawings of these awakened beings with focusing on the eyes, focusing on their eyes. And later, as I started putting them up here, I realized one eye is enough. Let's just get right to the point. It doesn't really need the nose, as you can see in the picture of the Buddha or the Dalai Lama there. You know, this one eye is enough. There was a saying that Jesus had, "Let thine eye be single," in the Bible, I think, something like that. Let thine eye be single. So the single eye, what does this mean? Let thine eye be single. Your eye be single. So there's a lot of meanings behind this. It's quite a deep saying. So single means also no separation. What you're looking out at is, you know, also what's looking. There's no separation anywhere. So that's a single eye. And likewise, when I was doing these, I noticed too that when you look into the eyes of awakened beings, you're really seeing yourself. It's like a mirror, because they're a clear mirror. You see a person when you're not awake. You look at an awakened being and you see another person with a personality and all these different things that people have. You know, they look like a person. They walk on two legs. They look like a human. And so you assume, you believe from your conditioning that this is a person that you're looking at. But the awakened being has transcended the person. They no longer feel that they're a person. So if you look clearly, it's transparent. You're looking into your true being. And that's your true being. That's the true being of everything. There's just one true being. And that's you. And everything you see is also that same true being. So this is another way of saying, let thine eye be single. Be aware of what's really going on and what you're really seeing. And it's easier to see this in awakened beings, because they don't have as much of that personality in the way. Even though you're perceiving a personality, there just isn't that much of it in the way. The veil between the reality and the illusion of a separate self is very thin or non-existent. But when you see it, there's still a veil, your own veil, but it helps you to see someone that's already been free. Something inside you, the truth of what you are, realizes, remembers what you are by seeing someone else that also realizes this. There's no separation between you and Buddha, Ramana Maharshi, me, Muji, any being. There's no separation between you. You are this being that you think is awake or enlightened or you're learning from. That's who you are. That's what you are. Not the personality, not what you perceive as a personality, but the true being. The true beingness. You're only looking at yourself. That's the purpose of a teacher. The purpose of a teacher is that you realize that you don't need a teacher. The purpose of a teacher is that you realize that you don't need a teacher. That all of life, all of existence is always teaching you. And you are learning from your own beingness, which is the true teacher, your own true self. It's always been your teacher. And the purpose of an external teacher, me, anybody else, who you're learning from, who's helping you feel this resonance of your true being, your true nature, is only a reflection, a mirror that you're looking into. And when you awake, you realize that. You don't need teachers anymore after you're awake, or anything. All right, so that's why I changed some of the pictures to these some of the series of these drawings I have, the eyes of awakened beings. And in this case, sometimes the eye of awakened beings, where you get really even more deeply into it, just one eye. Because if you've ever done the practice of gazing, which is a wonderful Sufi practice, which, in my Sangha back east, we were very open to doing different things. So at one point we would do gazing practices often. And that's where you just look into somebody's eyes for a period of time, like 20 minutes or so. It's quite a powerful practice. And in this, you learn that you just look into one eye. Because if you're trying to look into both eyes, your eyes sort of shift back and forth, and that's a distraction. So you just pick one eye, and you just look into that one eye. And in that one eye, after 20 minutes or so, it's kind of amazing what you start seeing. Sometimes is what my experience was, is the illusion begins to dissolve of a separate person. And on the way of that dissolving, you begin to see many things. Everything, really. Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about today is belief versus awakening versus truth. After we wake up, we don't need beliefs anymore. We don't hold on to any beliefs. Often people say to me, well, that's your belief, or that's your opinion. But I have no opinion or belief. I don't hold on to any of it. I mean, it may seem that. If you're not awake, you're listening to me talk and saying, he's got a lot of beliefs and opinions and knowledge and things like that, but I don't have any. I don't have any. I have no opinions. I have no beliefs. I have no knowledge. In fact, from here, I realize that I know absolutely nothing. I know absolutely nothing. That's my experience. I know absolutely nothing. Because I realize what my thoughts are. My mental knowing, my knowledge, is just thoughts. And thoughts are not true. So therefore I know absolutely nothing. I've got many thoughts, just like you, but I don't believe them. I know what they are. They're thoughts. They're useful. They're wonderful. You learn with them. They can be creative, all kinds of different things. But they're not truth. They're not reality. So to experience reality, I don't rely on my thoughts at all, my interpretations of reality. No, I'm just here. I just experience reality. That's all. I just open to reality and let reality show me what it is. I don't need to understand it. I don't need to have a mental concept of it. I don't need to make a symbol out of it, which is what thoughts are. They're symbols for reality. They're not reality itself. Just as the picture of that eye, or this eye over there, is not an eye. It's a drawing. It's a symbol. But it can remind us of an eye. It can remind us of what this eye is behind this eye. In this case, these are the eyes of awakened beings. It can remind us of what's behind this eye, but it is not the eye itself. It's a symbol. That's all. It's a symbol. So all our thoughts are symbols. And yet, before we realize this, we're very attached to our thoughts because we believe them. That's what a belief is. A belief is thoughts. Right? Any belief you have is still just a thought. It's just a symbol. Your belief in enlightenment is a symbol of enlightenment, not enlightenment. Your belief in God is a symbol of God, not God. Your belief in the world is a symbol of the world, not the world. Your belief in yourself is a symbol of what you are, not what you are. So often I have people come to me in different ways. This guy recently came and he had been on the spiritual path. He's a young guy. He'd been on the spiritual path for 6 months. And he was far more awake than people who have been on the path for 50 and 60 years. That's just the way it is. 6 months versus 60 years, and he's more awake. Wow. You know, and that's what I felt too. I mean, it was impressive to me too, because he was open. So in his case, one video was enough. That's it. One video. You know, one video, and he woke up. But what does it mean? Does it mean that this is an incredibly great video? I want that video. I want that video that woke him up in one time after 6 months of being on the path. No, it's not the video. It's his openness. It could have been anything. In Zen, we have stories about people waking up because they heard the sound of a pebble hitting bamboo, or their grass slippers fell off and broke. Just daily things of life. And that's the moment that they fully awakened. We awaken because we realize life. Because life penetrates in to our dream world of what life is. And it penetrates it. It penetrates in, and we let it penetrate in. We've done enough work in the beginning to be open to life, and then life comes in, because what our suffering is a conflict between our beliefs and our thoughts and life and reality. That's all suffering is. Suffering is a conflict between reality and what we think reality is in our life, or what we hope reality is, what we wish reality is, our beliefs. It's a conflict between that. And we're going to find many conflicts if we pay attention, because we're living in a dream. We're seeing the light, we're seeing the world and ourself and everything in it through the filter of illusion, of a dream, our conditioned thoughts. Everyone in every society experiences this because we've been conditioned from the moment of our birth. The moment your parents gave you a name and said, "Oh, that's Susan. Oh, that's Peter. Oh, that's Jonathan." That's when it begins, the conditioning. And after a time, you believe that you are Susan or Peter or Jonathan, whatever name you've been given. And then if you move to Sedona, you get a new name like Sunshower or Starfield or something. And then you believe that name. Matter of fact, when you get this name, you work on believing it and telling everybody else, this is my new name. This is my new name showing my spiritual advancement. And you believe this name, and this becomes who you are. But these are all distractions. Because in truth, you have no name. And all your beliefs and all your knowledge and all your spiritual learning and studying, all of that combined together is just thoughts. To reality, it's meaningless. So when you wake up, you let go of all those beliefs you had. And you had them. We all had beliefs. I had beliefs, particularly when you're in a spiritual path. You get many beliefs. And you want to understand, what is awakening? What is enlightenment? What is freedom? What is my true self? What is awareness? What is consciousness? What is God? And you search and learn from different people, and you think that you understand. No, this is who I am, and this is what enlightenment is, or I hope it is. But these are just beliefs. These are just thoughts. They have nothing to do with reality at all. They're a distraction from reality. So all your beliefs are a distraction from reality. When we wake up, we talk about letting go. What do we let go of? Everything. We let go of the story of me. We let go of our perceptions of the world, our beliefs in the world. We let go of our belief in all our spiritual teachings. The Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Buddhist sutras. We let go of all of this. Oh, someone's coming. All right, excuse me for a second. Yes, hi, I'm doing a satsang now.
Oh, I'm
Okay,
so sorry.
yeah.
I'm ready for
Okay. Excuse me. Someone's running for Congress. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah. So, beliefs. All these beliefs that we've accumulated, all these beliefs that we believe, these thoughts are spiritual learnings. All this is what we let go of. Me, I know someone recently, the ego very much thinks that it knows something. The ego thinks that it knows something, doesn't it? I know who I am. I know what the best way to awaken is for me. This is what works for me. These teachings are the teachings that work for me. But the truth is, we don't know anything. The ego is an illusion, and its belief that it knows anything is an illusion. I mean anything. Our beliefs that we know absolutely anything is a complete illusion. We know nothing. I'm not the only one that knows nothing. None of us know anything. The ego is very arrogant. And from the point of the ego, it doesn't think it's arrogant at all. The ego may think it's very humble, very spiritual, very awake, very knowledgeable. But in truth, it knows nothing at all. It doesn't even exist. So saying I know nothing is just a statement of truth. That's all. I know nothing. Because my thoughts are just symbols. They're not reality. They're illusions. They're dreams. They're what our dream is made of, thoughts. When we see the world, we perceive it through thought. That's why it's a dream. Reality is much different than that. The world is much different than what we think it is. It bears it's nothing like what we think it is. And who we are, is nothing like what we think we are. It doesn't have any similarity at all. There's no way to say, it's not even apples and oranges. It's just nothing like it. It's entirely new, and it's unknowable to the mind. We know it because it is. That's all. Presence is the awareness of the beingness, of the isness of everything. It is. That's all we can say. We can't say what it is. Good, bad, neutral, right, wrong. These are just words. These are just symbols. These are just illusions. Reality has no good or bad. And one thing that is true that you may believe is that reality also has no suffering. Reality has no suffering in it. So when you experience suffering, this is your beliefs coming in conflict with reality. That's what suffering is. That's all it is. That's its purpose. Its purpose is to guide you to reality. To say like, uh-oh, okay, I'm feeling suffering. Why? Why? Find out. Open to it. In this moment, in the experience of suffering, yes, reality is that you are experiencing suffering in this moment. Why? Why really? Because somebody did something to you? Because someone stole something from you? Because someone insulted you? Because you found out you have a disease? No. Because what you think is in conflict with reality. That's all. And the one who is thinking, the dreamer, is also in conflict with reality. Because you are not a separate being. There is no separate beings. There never have been separate beings, even though that's what you perceive through your conditioning, through thoughts, through name and form. You see a world of separate things. A tree is not a mountain, or a person, or a bird. But in reality, you can't say that. A tree is not a person, or a mountain, or a bird. It has nothing to do with reality at all. You cannot say things are separate or not separate. Those are just illusions. Those are just dreams. You open to pure beingness, to pure isness. That's reality. When the mind is empty, then it knows. It's the only time that it does know. When it's empty, empty of all thoughts, empty of all beliefs, empty of all interpretations and mental understandings. To live in reality, you don't need these things. It is. That's enough. It all is. Everything is. What it is, those are dreams. Those are illusions. You come back to the basics. You come back to the simplicity. You come back to reality, to truth, from a dream. This is why we call it a dream. It's very much like your sleeping dream, and you're very familiar with your sleeping dreams. You've had many sleeping dreams, and in the morning you wake up and you realize it was just a dream. And this is what happens when you wake up from this waking dream. You wake up and you see, oh, it was all just a dream. Me and the whole story of my life and all the things that happened were just a dream. They're all just a dream. Everything I perceived about the world was just a dream. All my 40 years of spiritual seeking and learning and practicing was just a dream. Reality was here the whole time. Everything I was seeking was here the whole time. But because I was dreaming, I wasn't aware of it. Just as in your sleeping dream, you're not aware that you're sleeping in bed. You're not on top of Mount Everest, freezing. You're sleeping in bed. It's just a dream. And you and the story of your life are also just a dream. The seeker is just a dream. The seeking is just a dream. It has its point, but as I said, here's a guy, he's on the path for 6 months, and he's very close to awakening, and has had moments of pure awakening and absolute bliss of reality. And people who have been practicing diligently for 50 years have never touched that. All they've touched is their dream, their spiritual dream. Oh, this is peace. Yes. But it's a dream peace. It's a dream of peace. It's not really peace. It's still a dream. I'm at peace. That's a dream statement. There's no I. Peace is the realization of what you are. You're not a separate person, separate being, an individual. That's a dream. And there's nothing you can say about it, because you can't even say that's not so, because you still act in the world with a body, mind, and a person. People perceive you as a person. This is a role that you play. So relatively, you still act in the world as a person. It's just that you don't believe it. You're free of it. You have no idea what you are. You're the infinite, the unbounded, the illuminated, the radiant. It's just words. But you're far more than you can possibly imagine. And to the ego, this is frightening. The ego wants some kind of boundaries. This is me, and that's the world. This is me, and that's the universe. I'm not the same as that. I have my own unique individuality that's separate from the totality. But this is not true. It cannot be true. It's a dream. And often I say, both are true and neither are true. This is a statement from presence and truth. Both are true and neither are true simultaneously. So it sort of cancels them out, right? And then you're open. Okay, I don't know. Both are true and neither are true. You realize, okay, my mind can't handle that. I don't know. Yes, that's true. You don't. You don't know. You don't know what's in your best interest. You don't know what works for you. You don't know anything. The ego doesn't like hearing things like this. But I'm speaking from truth. And that's the only thing that can help you. I'm not going to give you a new dream to have. And I hope I haven't. But the mind is going to interpret my words too and turn it into a dream. Oh, he's talking about freedom and awakening and enlightenment. Yes, I understand what that is. No, you don't. I don't understand what that is. I only understand that it is. I only understand that this is. Not in a way of understanding. I just experience it. That's my understanding. My direct experience is my understanding. Moment by moment, my direct experience is my understanding. What am I? I don't know, but I am. This is. There's no separation anywhere, but I feel it. I experience it. And that's my only knowing. My only understanding is my experience, my direct experience, and not my personal direct experience, but the beingness, the isness, and whatever is happening in this moment. Do I have any control of this? None whatsoever. There's no need of control. That's another dream thing. That's what keeps us fearfully locked in this dream, is that we think we can control things. And we can't. That's an illusion. So there's a lot to let go of in this dream. You know, the dream has many things in it. I know who I am. I can control something. I need to control something. If I don't control, everything will be chaos. If I don't know who I am, I'll be like someone waking up in a hospital bed with amnesia. No, none of that is true. Reality is always here. Truth is always here. As soon as we let go of the dream, bing, here we are. That's why someone can have this experience in 6 months. That's why someone can have this experience in 30 seconds, immediately. The sound of a pebble hitting bamboo can wake them up. One video can wake them up. Anything can wake them up, because it's all reality. Reality is here. It's not that one thing is better than another thing for waking people up. It's life. It's reality. It's presence. This is what wakes people up. It's the beingness of life. And this is at the same time far too simple for the mind to engage with. It's too easy and simple for the mind to engage with. And it's too infinitely complex for the mind to engage with. Both of those things are true. It's simultaneously too simple and simultaneously vastly too complex. Beingness is simple because you are this. You are beingness. It's too simple for your mind to grasp or understand. You are this. You've always been this. You can be nothing but this. That's simple. There's no striving to be what you are. There's no seeking or knowledge that can help you be what you are. In fact, it just gets in the way because you have these ideas of what you are or what you can become. There's no becoming. You are this. You've always been this. You've been this eternally. You never could not be this. So that's why waking up is effortless. That's why nobody really knows how they woke up. We have stories of how we walked up to the door, but nobody knows how they walked through, because that's effortless, and there is no self that does this. It's effortless, and it's simpler than a self. It's just the pure beingness itself. So the the thought and the practice of I don't know is wonderful because it humbles you. And you need to humble this ego, because the arrogance of the ego is what's keeping you from reality, keeping you from being awake, and keeping you in suffering. It's the arrogance of the ego. I know. I can figure it out. I can understand it. This is just the ego's arrogance and illusion. There is no understanding. Nothing that you believe is true. And it doesn't need to be. Those are just dreams. Why should a dream be true? You can let go. You can give up on this dream. And your search is also part of this dream. Your seeking is part of this dream. Everything you do is part of this dream as long as you're in the dream, isn't it? Just like when you're sleeping, everything that happens, maybe you're on top of Mount Everest and then you find yourself in a restaurant ordering some food. It's all a dream, everything you're doing. And then you say like, okay, I'm full. Let me go look for a spiritual teacher. And then you find this wonderful guru and you start levitating. All of it is in a dream. You're eating, it could be very mundane. You could say, oh, now I have to use a bathroom. And then you go find a bathroom and use that. And then you meet someone and they talk to you and they give you directions. And all of it is a dream. Everything that happens is a dream. And then you could say, oh, I found these wonderful books. And you're searching through these books and you're getting great insights in these books. And then you meet the teacher and you have this wonderful epiphanies. Being with this wonderful teacher, finally I found the teacher, and now you're awake. I'm awake, I'm enlightened. And all these people come to you, and now you have all these students. But this was a dream. It's all happening in a dream. Then you wake up and, oh, it was all a dream. Yes, all of it. All of it. The entire story of me is a dream. And everything that happened is a dream. Because when you've had these moments of awakening, you know that you don't know how it happened, really. Could be with psychedelics, but that's not why. That's not why. We don't know why. What's here is here. Reality is here. And is it wonderful? Yes, it is wonderful. Because the dream is this very narrow, superficial, two-dimensional cardboard cutout of a world. It's not real. It's like a cartoon strip. Cartoon strip isn't real. The person in the cartoon strip isn't a real person. They're not walking around. They don't have to eat. They don't have to sleep. They don't have to go to the bathroom unless they're happening in the cartoon. It's just a symbol. It's not real. And this is what our life is. It may feel very three-dimensional, very real. We're touching things, but all of that is a dream. Here I am sitting on this couch here. I can touch this, but in the dream, I think I know what it is. It's a very limited two-dimensional thing. When I let go of that knowing, suddenly there's so much more. Suddenly this couch is so much more. Everything is. Because I'm not limiting my focus to a dream. I'm not filtering out 99.99999% of life. When I say I don't know, suddenly, it's all available to me as it is. And that's infinite. There's no end to what I can experience from everything. From this couch. From everything. There's no end to what I can experience from it when I open to it. Oh, if you go to the Facebook page, I put a little link in it. Someone told me that when I held up the enlightenment thing, it was backwards on this. Okay, yeah, that happens, I guess. Yeah, for when I'm seeing it, it's not backwards, but when you see it, I guess it's backwards, like a mirror or something. So, but on the Facebook page, there's a link that shows you how to go on Zoom, how to load Zoom, and everything you need to know about doing that, how the satsangs go together and what times they are and all that kind of stuff. By the way, if you're in other parts of the world, I think daylight savings time ends tomorrow on Sunday, I just saw. So that's going to be, we're going to do this on Pacific time and stick with Pacific time. It's too complex to do Arizona time because Arizona time doesn't do daylight savings. It just stays at the same time. So for your benefit, I'm going to say, okay, we're just going to go with Pacific time. So right now it's 1 o'clock Pacific time, and we start this at noon. And I guess during daylight savings time, you know, I will start later. You know, here in Arizona, I'll start at 1, but it'll still be noon for you. It'll just be noon Pacific time instead of Arizona time. Yeah, so just stick with Pacific time. It's much simpler. Thank you, my friends, and hope you like these new pictures. Yeah, change is changing, right? This is what happens in life. Life is always happening. That's it. That's all we know. It is. That's all we know. And it's wonderful to be in that place of just beingness, not be attached to our thoughts and words and beliefs, to be free of all that stuff. That's the point of this. Because what you come to when you're free of this is truth, is reality that has always been here, that has always been you. And you have not been separate from anything. It's just the realization of this. You can't learn it. Learning it doesn't help. It's here, and everything you learn, learning is wonderful, but you can't learn reality. All your studies cannot bring you any closer to reality than reality already is here. It's here. You don't need to learn it. You don't need to study it. You don't need to practice it. You are it. Thank you. Enjoy this wonderful world.